and I'm very happy to have two eminent panelists here. I want to introduce both of them. Dr. Bala Bharadwaj is the Director of Research and Technology, Boeing Research and Technology India Center, Bangalore. He is the member of Aerospace Board, CE India. He is an alumnus of IIT Madras, graduated with the BTech in Aeronautical Engineering, MS and PhD from Georgia Tech, MBA from California, University of California, Irvine. He currently provides leadership to Boeing R&D and engineering activities, supporting Boeing's overall strategy in India. In that capacity, he works with the entire ecosystem, whether it is academics or vendors or any government institutions. So he is very well qualified to be on this panel, and it's great to have him on this panel. Manjunath Hebbar, it's called Hebbar for short. He just told me that nobody would recognize if I were to use his first name. 25 years of experience in product development, and he started as an entrepreneur. He developed over a 13-year period. He managed a design lab where he developed 87 original products, and that was in the early part of his career. While we are talking about product development, here is somebody who did it a long time ago. And since then, I don't know how, but he has moved into services type of environment, but tries to kind of apply the product development and raises the services organization in terms of their product development capability. After his entrepreneurial stint, he went into Philips, where he was involved very much in developing some of the new standards, such as the DVD, read-write, home cinema, and he took these standards and ideas to the market. In 2001, he set up and managed the global product engineering team for Agere system, which became Proxim Wireless, and they introduced Wi-Fi technology in India. Then he joined iGate, where he first forayed into the engineering services side of business. And now he heads the strategic engineering and R&D services of HCL Technologies. He has been very involved in many of the the industry bodies, especially NASSCOM, and particularly Talent Council of NASSCOM. And he is very eminently positioned to be part of this panel, and I'm very happy to have him on the panel as we discuss some of the very pertinent topics of interest to us. He is an electronics engineer, and he also has an MBA and currently pursuing a fellowship in strategic management. Welcome, Dr. Bharadwaj. Thank you. Okay, so before we get started, I want to very quickly set the context for this panel discussion. Let's look at the opportunity. Okay, currently we are about a $10 billion revenue industry. Currently, about 200,000 engineers are employed in this industry, and there are about 350 plus solutions providers, engineering providers. Now that is right now, 2012. Come 2020, the demand is forecasted at $45 billion. That is a four-fold plus increase in 8 years, with the demand for more than 1 million engineers to be employed by our industry, 500 plus providers. And how are we going to resource this opportunity is the topic that we'll be spending a lot of time on. I just want to spend a little bit of time showing the ecosystem. To put together this panel, I sourced some ideas from social media, a whole bunch of ideas came from students and faculty all over the place. And it helped me put together this ecosystem where there's general population, young boys and girls growing up in this country who need to be attracted into engineering curriculum as students. Then the students, whether they join engineering companies after having finished engineering graduation, is an issue. Retaining the engineering graduate into engineering industry, okay, that retaining becomes an issue. And then the customers are continuously going to be looking at much better capability and competence of this workforce as we go along. So the engineering companies need to continually grow this talent. Now, what are some of the challenges? First of all, attracting itself. Are we really attracting all the people that are very interested in doing engineering, who would excel in engineering, into engineering curriculum? And then having come through the engineering curriculum, there is a study, this number is debatable, and we will, employability is supposedly only 25%. So there goes a whole bunch of people. And from that 25% of people, we are going to lose a whole bunch of people into non-engineering things, primarily into software jobs. Because they are not going to do the engineering. They were trained for mechanical, civil, electrical, all kinds of engineering, but they end up doing software coding. Okay? And then higher capabilities. How do we develop those higher capabilities? In this ecosystem, academia is an important player with the students who go into an engineering college. So we will talk about what is their responsibility, what are they supposed to do. And then there are industry bodies, mainly NASSCOM, within that engineering forum. So what can industry body do? And that is where the HEBAL will go a lot of line. There's also the government. While there might be less influence on the companies as well as the industry body, there's definitely a lot of influence of the government, Ministry of Education, on the academia, what they can do, cannot do. So we will explore and talk about these topics with the panel.